Top Sport – pagrindinis Kauno Žalgirio rėmėjas.
Top Sport – kazino lošimo automatai.
Top Sport – ruletė. Top Sport – stalo lošimai.
Top Sport lažybos.
Top Sport.
Dalyvaudamas azartiniuose lošimuose gali prarasti ne tik pinigus.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. You're about to watch another great episode of Žalgiriu's On Air podcast. But first, we have a quick message from our friends at NordVPN. Look, we know the internet's full of all kinds of threats, and with NordVPN, it can help protect you and your device whenever you're using it, let's say, traveling, in the airport, at hotels, even at cafes. And sometimes it's very hard to access any of your home content, but with NordVPN, you can change all of that with a snap of your fingers. Already interested? You can go get your NordVPN has special deals for all Žalgiris fans already in the comment section. Still here? Go and watch that Žalgiriu's On Air podcast.
Sveiki, mėlyjei Žalgirio sirgaliai, su jumis sveikinasi Žalgiris On Air podcastas, jo pradžia ir mes turime dar vieną svečią mūsų podcastų studijoje ir džiaugiamės, kad su mumis šiandien yra šio sezono komandos naujokas, prisijungęs labai karštų metų prie komandos ir iš karto tapęs svarbia jo dalimi ir aišku, mes kalbame su Isaiah Tayloru. Hello Isaiah, how are you, man?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm very good to have you here, and fans really love your performance, really love your game. But before we dive into that, before we dive into this very interesting season, I just need to give a couple of words for our sponsors. Ir, mėlyjei, be jokios abejonės, mes turime mūsų bičiulių Vilkiškių pieninės produkcijos ant stalo. Tai aišku ženklas apie tai, jog Kauno Žalgirio krepšininkai mėgaujasi tą produkciją ir less sugar produkcija, aišku, yra truputėlį su mažiau cukraus ir truputėlį sveikesnė ir ta sveikesnė opcija visiems jums pasirinkti. Ir aišku, dar turime mūsų bičiulį iš Autojutos kepurėlę, turime ir Autojutos marškinėlius ir marškinėliai ir kepurėlė teks tam sirgaliui, kurio klausimą kaip geriausia išrinks Isaiah Tayloras. O klausimus galite užduoti Žalgiris programėlėje, jeigu esate Žalgiris Insider prenumeratorius, tą galite daryti ir senoje platformoje, bet mes jau persikėlėme į programėlę, ten vyksta visi geri dalykai. All right, after a bunch of gibberish for you, now we can start talking together. So Isaiah, fans, of course, they want to know the situation right now. How are you feeling after that injury that you got in Germany?
Just like I tell the coaches, I feel good. I tell them I feel great. But at the same time, I know I'm playing with the injury that's kind of just going to linger around, it being the hamstring and all. And it really just takes rest just to get better. But right now, I really don't have much time for that. We have the Euroleague playoffs coming up. So it's just something I'm going to have to play with and just deal with throughout the rest of the season.
But I remember we talking in the Žalgiris locker room last time you got that minor injury when you got that hamstring injury. You said the same things. I just need to play and that's going to be okay. Like you got this warrior mentality going on. Eh?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's not really about me. It's about the team. And, knowing what's at stake this year, this season, and how we fought at the end of the season just to make the playoffs. I just got to be out there on the court with my team, especially with me out there. I think we have the best chances of winning. So,
you guys got the ticket. You grabbed the ticket to the top 8. Yeah. How did you guys celebrate it after the game?
There's a few beers in the locker room. We showered coach with a bunch of water and stuff like that. Just knowing that I think this is his first EuroLeague season and
this EuroLeague,
in this EuroLeague and with this team and just making it to the playoffs, it was kind of like a big deal for us. Knowing where we were last year in the standings, where people had us in the preseason, I think this was a big deal for everybody.
The whole drama of the game. At the end of the game, you guys were up by 10, but suddenly. Only the 1 point left. How did you feel at that moment, looking to the court, what's happening?
To be honest, being a spectator, so now I kind of know how the fans feel, knowing that I was out on the sideline with the injury and just watching the game happen. I was more nervous on the sideline than I am in the actual game when I'm playing in those type of situations. So now I know what's going through the fans' heads.
Yeah, so we're going to get back to that topic of this Žalgiris season. How did you end up playing for Žalgiris this season? Yeah. But fans really, really want to know you better, know you better about your career. And I knew that you grew up in Cali, yeah?
Grew up in California.
Yeah, but you finished your high school in Texas, yeah?
Yes,
so pretty different states in terms of weather and in terms of the whole culture and stuff. So do Do you consider yourself as a Cali person or as a Texas guy?
Nah, I'm a Californian person for life. I'm a West Coast boy, but at the same time, I have family and a lot of friends, a lot of close friends in Texas, specifically Houston. I actually went to college in Austin, Texas, at the University of Texas. So I have a lot of ties out there. So I really consider both places home for sure.
And how did the whole journey to Texas begin? Why was the change of the living place and so on?
So I went down there my junior year of high school. So I had 2 more years. I moved down to Houston, Texas. I had an opportunity to, I guess, get seen by more colleges. I was playing with the guy named Shaquille Clear. He was one of the top 25 kids in the class of 2012 at the time. And I was kind of ate off him, to be honest. Everybody was coming to see him, the Kansases, the Floridas, the Marylands, all the major colleges. And, colleges came, they seen me too. So I think that he really helped me out a lot for sure.
Then, like you mentioned, you joined the Texas University in Austin,
Yeah.
There are years going by. At that point, did you consider yourself as a future NBA player? What was your attitude? What was your mental lockness?
To be honest, as a kid, it was just, for me, the dream was always just to play an NBA game.
Yeah.
It wasn't just to be an all-star or anything like that. It was just to finally be on that stage just that one time. Just one time. And I did that, and that was kind of everything for me. Coming into college, did I think that I was going to have that NBA projection so quick? I didn't. I think I was a 2-3 star. I wasn't really a highly ranked player coming out of high school, going to a huge university as the University of Texas.
Yeah.
When I first got there after the season, after my freshman year, we had our exit meetings, and the media was asking me if I was going to enter the NBA draft, and I was like, "What? Like,
are you asking me this question?
Yeah, are you asking me this question?" It was kind of surprising. I think that was the first moment I kind of realized, like, wow, I'm actually here. So.
All right. So after the university, you got undrafted, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What was the feeling after getting undrafted? Some of the players after getting this news, like I'm gonna lose my dream. But some players like, okay, I need to open the window for that opportunity.
Yeah. It was crazy because during the draft process, you're on the phone with your agent. He's telling you, yo, who wants to draft you here? Who wants to draft you there? And around, I think it was like the mid-second round, I had a few teams that wanted to draft me, but they wanted to put me overseas for like a year or something like that, or have me develop with the G League team the first year. So I really wasn't feeling that, to be honest. I really wasn't feeling that too much. So at the end of the day, I said, yo, I'll just go undrafted. I'll go undrafted, and I'll take my chances, and I'll just bet on myself. So the Houston Rockets gave me an opportunity. I went there. I played for their G League team the first season, and
Vipers,
for the Vipers, for the RGV Vipers, and within the first few months, they offered me a deal, so it kind of worked out for the best.
If you said yes during that draft night, so you potentially would have been drafted, that night.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So Houston Rockets gave the opportunity for you. How was it? You played also for that G League team, as you mentioned, but you were on the team with James Harden, yeah?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Did you get a contact with James Harden off the court, on the court? Was he some kind of mentor for a new guy?
For sure. Just knowing, like, everybody, one thing that they don't know about him, he's just a hooper. Like, he just loves to play basketball. He doesn't miss any workouts. He's really the first one at the gym, the last one to leave. He's always getting up shots at the practice. And just as a young dude, you really take that into mind and just really, I guess, know that that's the work ethic that you have to be just to be an all-star, just to be the best. And off the court, he was a mentor. On the court, he was a mentor. And I think that he did a pretty good job with the young guys for sure.
Would you have to guard him during the practices or not?
Yeah, I would guard him during the practices. Being on the second team, I had to guard him a lot during the practices. And him just being so seasoned, you would know that he's just like a really good player.
Yeah.
And going into that off season, we also got Chris Paul. So once we got Chris Paul, it was kind of like, it was Chris Paul, James, and those were the guys I was going up against. So
2 future Hall of Famers, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Can you also elaborate on the matter of every game? Because we know that in NBA league, some of the games are not that important as another ones. As in Europe, every game seems like every game matters. Yeah. How was it for you?
The one thing I didn't know is how engaged the fans were. how engaged the fans were and how much they cared about the game and about their teams, their respective teams. I didn't really realize how serious it was, and like how I guess they fight at the games, they scream at the games. Some people have their shirts off, they're yelling.
They write after the games.
Yeah, right after the games, tweeting, cursing, just whatever it is. They love their teams, and I think that's something that I respected about the European game a lot.
Okay. Then you got to Murcia, as you mentioned. Sito Alonso, a very good tactician, good coach, and a very strong Spanish basketball league.
Yeah.
How was it at the beginning to join that ACB league and to play there?
It was fun. Just knowing that I think since I've been in Europe, I've been in Israel, I've been in Spain, Turkey, and now Lithuania. I would say probably the ACB has the best local league. Especially competition. It's a high level over there. Knowing they have 4 EuroLeague teams now, a few Euro Cup teams, I think 3 or 4 Champions League teams. It's very high level over there. So at the end of the day, just playing in the ACB kind of got me prepared for EuroLeague.
Playing in the ACB league, how that style of basketball suited your game?
I think that Coach Sito, he kind of structured the team to suit my game a little bit, and the players that he picked, we kind of made it into like a fast break up and down team, and to be honest, it was really fun. He gave us a lot of freedom, but at the same time we had to compete on defense. He didn't not let us do that. So at the end of the day, I think that he did a great job of just putting that team together, and I think that we had a pretty successful season. We fell short of the playoffs in the ACB, but I think that was the first time we made it to Copa. We beat Valencia and gave Barcelona a run for their money. So I think it was a pretty successful season.
How much of a freedom Sito Alonso gave you on the court, like to improvise, to do those ISO plays if the situation needed?
He was kind of like Sito was kind of like, I wouldn't say like a friend, but like more like a mentor. Just knowing that he could talk to me and I could talk to him at the same time.
Like a college coach,
I would say that when he yelled at me or something like that, I didn't take offense to it, and he would let me talk to him in the same way, like. But
he would yell in Spanish, though, no?
Yeah, like we would have literal exchanges like on the court where he would yell at me, I would yell at him. We're doing the timeout.
Cussing each other.
Yeah, cussing at each other, like yo, F you, whatever, Like we would talk like that, but at the end of the day, he would slap me on the butt and be like, yo, Taylor, I need you. I'd be like, yo,
no offense taken.
Yeah, like no offense taken. And it'll be like, yo, I'm here for you. And I know that he's there for me. So, like, just knowing that the coach kind of had my back like that, it really meant a lot.
But that's amazing. You cannot do that with every coach.
Nah, you can't. And I think that people kind of got to put their emotions aside. For me, I'm not too emotional, like, when it comes to that kind of conversation and that type of engagement. I kind of like it. It kind of gets me going. Like, when I can speak to somebody like that and they can speak to me like that, just knowing that, yo, just know that I'm always here in your corner no matter what happens. So.
You respect me, I respect you, yeah.
Exactly.
So after 1.5 season in Spain, you join Anadolu Efes.
Yeah.
At that time, it was defending champs, back-to-back champions.
Yeah.
How the deal with Anadolu Efes came to you?
So I was literally at home. I was at home. So during this past summer, I had a few EuroLeague offers, but I wasn't really liking the offers too much. So,
but you wanted EuroLeague, yeah?
Yeah, I wanted EuroLeague for sure. But I just decided to wait. I was like, yo, like, I could wait. I feel comfortable being at home. Like, I believe in myself, basically.
Also, Murcia wanted you to stay, of course. No?
Yeah, Murcia wanted me. Yeah, Murcia wanted me to stay. Murcia did want me to stay. That place is kind of like home. I think that I grew close to a lot of people there. So yeah, that place will forever be close to me. But yeah, so I had a few EuroLeague offers, but I really wasn't feeling the offers too much in the summer, so I decided to wait. And I think around October or something, late October, I got the call from Anadolu Efes to sign with them.
Okay, you got to the team that had Vasa Misic on the court, Will Clyburn on the court, Elijah Bryan, Rodrigo Boboa, other players on the court. what was your initial thinking before going on a court with this team, knowing that you're not gonna get a lot of ball in your hands as you got in Murcia, the same minutes?
I didn't know what I really expected. I didn't expect too much, but at the same time, I expected to get an opportunity. But I knew that was Mitchell's team, that was Shane's team, that was Boubois' team. Them being the two-time defending champs, that team being together for about 4 to 5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I know that they had already created a culture there, so I was just looking to come in and just add to it,
Okay, I know how deep you can dwell into that, but we saw that Anadolu Efes came up short this Euroleague regular season.
Yeah.
Do you think it was because of the attitude, not taking some of the games seriously, or what?
That's a tough question. While I was there, I would say that everybody knows that they had the most talent in the world. I would say for man to man, they probably have the most talent in Euroleague.
Yeah.
I would say. But I would say it was just really gelling with the team. Once you come off, I don't know what the team was like before I got there, but you can get cocky just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? After they won 2 championships in a row, like
you're the champ.
They're the champs. They're the champs. Somebody has to knock you off the high horse first, and I think that especially adding Will this past summer, that was just another, like, you could probably say that Will was probably the most complete player in EuroLeague if you want to. Especially adding Will too. I think that it was kind of hard just to have them mesh and everybody touch the ball, knowing that Shane was there, Mitchell was there. You had to get Boubois shots and Clybourne shots. It was kind of hard just to get everybody working together, I would say.
And it's hard to defend the title than to earn for the first time, yeah?
Exactly. Knowing that they had defended it once already, being the back-to-back champions, going for the three-peat, them not making the playoffs this year, I wouldn't say their run was a failure or anything like that. Winning the championship 2 out of 3 years isn't a bad thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure almost every other EuroLeague team would take that anyway.
That's why we need play-in tournament in EuroLeague.
Play-in tournament, that would be fun. If we had a play-in tournament in EuroLeague, that would be fun. I wouldn't lie. That would be fun.
Talking to your friends from America who play also in the EuroLeague, do they agree on that? Do you ever talk about it, like about having additional tournament for additional places in the playoffs?
We don't really talk about that so much.
You would be in for that.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, this year I'm not mad that we don't have a play-in tournament. What we had to do to scratch and claw just to get here. I'm glad that we got into the 7th spot, but with a play-in tournament in EuroLeague, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
So finally, you got call from Žalgiris. Žalgiris desperately needed additions on the team. So Akila Polonara came, also you came. How was it dealing with Žalgiris and having that contract made in a very super fast time?
Yeah, I think so. If I'm not mistaken, after I had left Istanbul, I went back home. I went back to Houston, and I guess the game was going on where Keenan had got hurt. I think it was
Fenerbahce.
Versus Fenerbahce, and I think I might have signed with Žalgiris before the game even hit halftime. I think, to be honest, I think I might have signed before the game was even over. I think as soon as he kind of got hurt, everybody kind of knew what the injury was, and he would be out for the rest of the season. So I think my agent Misko, he kind of got the deal done as soon as we could.
So everything happened in January, at the beginning of January, the first half of January. Now we're having the second half of April. So your expectations and the reality right now, talking about Žalgiris locker room, about the coaches, how can you compare what you were thinking before joining Žalgiris and what you already know right now?
It's kind of what I expected. Everybody told me that this was a professional organization. You're gonna have to work really hard once you come here, and the team plays really hard, and that's kind of what they displayed once I got into the locker room. I would say that, especially coming down the stretch, we kind of showed our personality a little bit, that grit, that grind, that fight, that we could pull out a few games. Even if we don't have the most talented team, we can make it happen.
After every W, Keenan posts that the good guys won.
The good guys won, yeah.
So would you call this whole team the bunch of good guys?
Yeah, for sure. We have a lot of nice people on the team, for sure. The good guys won, for sure. I think that we have a lot of people with a lot of character, but at the same time, if you walk in our locker room, it's dead silent, it's quiet. People aren't really...
Is it a good thing, actually?
To be honest, this is the first locker room I've been in where it's just completely silent once you walk in, but at the same time, you kind of get used to it on a day-to-day basis.
So who's one of your teammates who might be the most silent one if you look at him, but on the court, you're like, oh my God, is he the same guy?
That's tough. I would have to probably say Arne for sure.
Really,
he doesn't really talk too much in the locker room, but as soon as he gets on the court, he might dunk. You might see his face tenses up. He's screaming at the crowd. He's showing a lot of emotion. So yeah.
Are you the one who tries to make the friendly dishes during the locker room times?
Yeah,
to lighten up the mood.
Yeah, I'm one of the guys that likes to talk. I'm one of the dudes that likes to talk. At the same time, I got me, like, if I'm not smiling, if I can't show my personality, I'm really no good on the basketball court. I'm not one of the guys that takes everything too serious. Even in the most tense of times, we could be down 2 with 2 minutes on the clock. I might smile towards the crowd. It's just who I am. And for me to show that personality, I think that means a lot.
During the practices, who you guard the most against? Lucas Lakavičius?
Yeah, Luki. Probably either Luki and Thomas, for sure.
Is he giving you the hard time with his quickness? The same quickness that you have?
Yeah, Luki being a smaller guy is kind of hard to. Is actually really kind of hard to guard him. Him just being like a smaller guy, you can't touch him too crazy because fouls and things that. So he gets me prepared for sure for the games and just guarding bigger players. For sure.
So you joined Žalgiris. You once again came back to Euroleague. You continued your first Euroleague season, and during the first game, was it versus Virtus? Yeah. You played the whole fourth quarter. So Kazis Maksvytis decides to put you on the court for the whole fourth quarter, and you helped Žalgiris win on your first Euroleague game with Žalgiris. How was it for you having that idea from the coach that he already trusts in you 100%?
It was cool. It was cool. Just knowing that I was finally getting that EuroLeague opportunity, I think was a good thing for me, and just knowing that I could just really display my talent out there. I know that I could come in here, I could compete. And I can produce. That's really not the question. I think it was really just actually doing it now, actually getting that opportunity. And I think that was one of the first games where I actually got that opportunity.
Talking about the whole mechanics of you playing that fourth quarter in a very important EuroLeague game that every point matters. And then you got thrown away in the fourth quarter. How the coach tries to simplify the game for you, the whole sets, just for you to be so efficient during that fourth quarter?
I think that with what I could do on the court, my speed, my finishing ability, getting everybody else involved, I think that the game doesn't have to be that difficult. You don't have to run too many sets. It's a simple pick and roll for me. Just
give me the space,
Yeah, just give me the space and just the opportunities and just let my talent work from there. I think that's one of the things that makes the game more simple for me, and that can also make the game more simple for our team, knowing that we don't have to, sometimes pass, swing, dribble, or just run like a set play. We could just make the game that much more simple so we could get the same result.
How frustrated were you when you got that first injury, when you were not playing for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks almost? You missed the cup final game, So how was it for you?
It was real difficult, to be honest, knowing that I didn't go through training camp with the team. I missed 2 months of the season, playing for Anadolu Efes, not really playing much.
Yeah.
And then coming here, playing 3 games, and then getting hurt again. So I really didn't get into a groove or get into a rhythm yet, to be honest. Like, I would say these past few games, I kind of got it going a little bit, but then another injury. So it's just like I told everybody else, this has been my most difficult professional season yet, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of obstacles on the way. Every time you try to come back on the court.
Yeah, every.
As we joke in Lithuania, Žalgiris played finals at the end of the regular season. Every game was the final. You guys won 4 in a row. That's pretty amazing after suffering 2 losses before that. Before those 4 games in a row that you guys won, what was the feeling in the locker room about grabbing that top 8 ticket? Was it like, we believe it 100%, or I don't know, was it shaky at first?
I know I believed it. I can't speak for anybody else, but I know I believed it. I know that certain fans, I even heard certain fans after the game tell me that they didn't believe that we were making the playoffs. People that was wearing the green and white didn't believe it. I know other EuroLeague teams didn't believe it. Our other guys' interviews and stuff like that. Other players' interviews from different teams.
Like, this seat is reserved for Baskonia, Žalgiris will be out of it.
Yeah, things like that. You kind of heard the talking in the wind, but at the same time, I think that the locker room we just kind of kept it together. We just know that we just had to chip away one game at a time, and I think that's just what we did. And just knowing that we had that heart and that belief, I think is what put us over the top. Not to mention that, we did need help from other teams. Luckily, Olympiacos beat Baskonia, and
also Fenerbahce
lost to Red Stars. So we needed help from other teams, but I think as long as we kept our end of the bargain, that we would make the playoffs.
Talking about that first part of the bargain when you guys needed some of the losses of the other teams, did you watch those games like Olympiacos play versus Baskonia at Cervena place?
Man, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I was asleep during half of all those games. I let the result be the result. Me watching it wouldn't change the result at all.
So then waking up, okay,
we good. so I think I woke up. I think that we were in Munich. I started watching the Fenerbahce game, like fourth quarter, the last 2 minutes, and after I seen the Baskonia game, I seen Olympiacos was kind of controlling the game the whole way through, so I kind of turned it off and just knew that we just had one more game. We were good, and we just had one more game to win for sure.
In your opinion, what was the most heated moment during those last 4 games of the regular season? Like, okay, game versus Valencia, what was an easy one in terms of the difference of the points? Yeah, but what about you? The most tension that you felt?
The most tension I felt, I'd say, would probably be the Maccabi game for sure.
The free throws?
Yeah, that was a tense moment, but at the same time, like I said, like everybody asked me, was I under a lot of pressure? And I was like, no, not really. Like, I really didn't feel it when I was up there, knowing that I've been in that situation so many times.
Yeah.
So many times. This wasn't any different than any other time. But at the same time, I knew that I had to just hit at least one free throw just to make it to the playoffs. After missing the first one, you hear in the crowd, everybody's kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of nervous for the second free throw. And I know I just had to knock it in for the second one, so that's what I did.
As we talked before, a lot of tension was also in the Bayern Munich's game when you guys were up by 10, but only 1 point left.
Yeah, I think we were up 10 with like a minute and 50 left or 40 something.
Minute and a half, I think.
A minute and a half left, and team, I think they put pressure on us, and that's kind of where we struggled a little bit this year. When teams put pressure, we tend to turn the ball over a little bit, and I think we threw like 2 or 3 turnovers, and they hit some shots. They hit some tough shots, and being on the sideline, it was nerve-wracking for sure. But I
imagine the whole of Lithuania, like
and we had a bunch of fans there. But just knowing that we could pull it through, I think that was the best part.
At one point, I remember I was commentating the game. You guys were up by 3. You got the ball, and after the timeout, you just needed to inbound the ball.
Yeah.
And during the broadcast, they just showed the Munich Bayern's possession. I was like, what the hell? How the hell they got another steal? And they once again like, oh shit, yeah.
It was crazy. They turned it up that last minute and a half, and it was a close game. Knowing that they knew that they could play carefree. They could play carefree, and we had literally everything on the line for the rest of the season. So I think they had that to their advantage. But like I said, we pulled it up.
They just wanted to close the door with a high note, and that's all. Yeah.
Exactly.
Talking about what happened after the game, we guys have this shirt, the school shirt. How did you like the shirt?
I loved it. I loved it. Top 8. Knowing that I could wear that shirt around the city, I could wear that shirt around the house. It's a good feeling.
You guys can have this shirt at žalgirishop.lt. Grab yours. And we continue with Isaiah. In your opinion, what qualities made this team to go to the top 8, even though at one point it seemed almost impossible from the fans' picture?
I would say just staying together as a team, just knowing that we were always around that 9, 10, 8, 7 spot. I think everybody from 7 to 10 kind of had the same record at the end of the day, and everybody said that we had one of the toughest schedules to end the season. So knowing that we really had to come in knowing that these last 4 games were playoff games for us. Yeah. If we wanted to make the playoffs, we had to treat these games like playoff games, and I think that everybody put their full effort towards each one of those games.
Just a couple of minutes ago, you mentioned that you're playing one of the hardest professional seasons of your career, but at the same time, you made a switch between the teams from one team who did not make the top 8 to one who made the ticket to the top 8. How do you feel about it? Like about the destiny of the whole season?
It was a good feeling, just knowing that I was a much bigger part of getting this team to the top 8 and making the playoffs than I was for Efes. Looking back on it, I think that it was a good move for me. Just showcasing my talent and showing what I could do, leading the troops and things like that. Especially coming down the stretch, we know that Anadolu Efes was literally behind us in the standings, and we pulled it out and showed our grit down the stretch.
When we talk about Sito Alonso as a coach, your relationship with Sito, about that cussing at each other, friendly cussing, I imagine the relationship with Kazis Maksvidis is a bit different.
Yeah, for sure.
How is the relationship with Kazis Maksvidis?
I wouldn't say our relationship's like that, but but at the same time, Kazis is real intense. He's real intense on the sideline, and he practices what he preaches. He wants us to play hard on every possession, share the ball, and just play as a team. And I think that's something that I had to adjust to, but at the same time, it's the Žalgiri's way of playing basketball, and I think that's what made it successful down the stretch.
And now you guys gonna be facing Barcelona, hopefully with you on the court. Fingers crossed. The first 2 games at Barcelona, then hopefully second 2 games, not one, second 2 games at Kaunas, and then maybe game 5. Who the hell knows? So you guys meeting this beast of Barcelona. Everybody knows that Žalgiris is the underdog in this pair. How do you see this upcoming battle versus Barcelona in quarterfinals?
I look at it as it's just gonna be fun. Just being my first Euroleague playoff. This will actually be my first professional playoff game, period.
All right.
So I think that this is gonna be real fun. This is gonna be real fun, and just having that atmosphere, especially once we get back to Kaunas, just seeing what the gym's gonna be like, knowing that it was crazy already during the regular season. During the playoffs, I expect it to be two times as much better. So we'll see.
What will it need from Žalgiris in order to take 1, 2, I don't know, let's get crazy, 3 games from Barcelona?
Just our execution. I think that as long as we execute, we'll have a chance just to be in the game and just compete with Barcelona. We know that they have good players over there, and they have people that have been to the Final Four, have been to the championship. They have an experienced coach. Their coaching staff is pretty good. So at the end of the day, we know that they come with a lot of experience, but at the same time, we're playing with house money. They're supposed to beat us. So at the end of the day, I think that we need to just go in there and just play carefree, and that we could come out there and get a few wins.
So, like you said, at the end of the game, you're gonna be the ones who are having fun on the court.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is a series for us where, just like at the beginning of the season, people didn't expect us to make the playoffs. People don't expect us to beat Barcelona. So at the same time, does that matter to us? No, of course not. But I think that we could play with a little bit more confidence, a little bit more swagger out there, and knowing that, we don't. At the end of the day, we made the playoffs. We expect to win this series, but at the end of the day, we don't have anything to lose.
I just want to get back real quick to that topic of your teammates in Žalgiris Kaunas. You're the one who is giving the ball into the big hands. We have on the team Laurynas Birutis, Roland Schmitz, others. How is playing with them, with these good guys on the court, with our good guys of the big line?
It's cool. Playing against Britas this last year when he was in the ACB with me.
Obradoiro.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that he was this good of a post player. He's actually real good on the post. When we pass it to him down there, people actually have a real problem stopping him. Roland being that pick and pop big, he could put it on the floor a little bit, but him just extending his range, and then K being able to switch on guards, guard basically 1 through 5, being that defensive presence and being that alley-oop threat for us. I think that those three have been monsters for us this year for sure.
And with Achille, you can have fun running the fast break, yeah?
Yeah, Achilles like a great glue guy, dribble handoffs, spot up threes, running the floor and things like that. Especially with Achille, like his game, he's more of like a stretch four. And I think that he's been doing a great job for us.
And finally, before we dive into fan questions, I have one more question about the fans. During that last Euroleague regular season game at home versus Maccabi, I felt that electricity in the air. The whole building it seemed like it was the biggest explosion of the season. How did you feel that emotion?
Man, it was great. It was great. To be honest, playing at home, it just feels good. It just feels good, especially having that Žalgiriu jersey on, having that green or that white on. When we're in the stadium, it just feels good knowing that we have the fans behind us. Win or lose, they're riding for us. So, especially me personally, that just means a lot to me for sure.
All right, Isaiah, we're gonna go dive into fan questions. We have a lot of fan questions for you, man. Fans want to know everything about you. Okay, let's go with Arnoldo's question. What are you doing on your free time?
Nori pamatyti visą video? Prenumeruok Žalgiris Insider.
Top Sport, pagrindinis Kauno Žalgirio rėmėjas.
Top Sport kazino lošimo automatai.
Top Sport ruletė, Top Sport stalo lošimai.
Top Sport lažybos.
Top Sport.
Dalyvaudamas azartiniuose lošimuose gali prarasti ne tik pinigus.